It's day 3 of GameDropZone's Game of the Year discussions. My name is Carl Schumann, your name is Matthew Kershaw.
It is.
And we're here to discuss Best Looking Game, the most contentious of categories.
Video games are not all about graphics, Kyle. It's about the story and the emotional experience you have during it. Therefore, Undertale wins.
You're wrong. Undertale doesn't have massive tits, that's why Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain wins. Evidently. No, that was sarcasm in case you didn't get that.
Tumblr's all on you now.
I'm not a massive fucking cis scum. I'm totally an SJW, don't hurt me. Anyway, are we going to talk about games?
I guess we should if it's a best looking game podcast.
Do you want me to run down the list, or do you want to run down the list?
You run down the list.
Alright, in no particular order, we have Star Wars Battlefront. An easy choice.
The most photorealistic game I've ever seen.
The most movie-realistic game I've ever jizzed over my controller. Bloodborne, which is terrifying, dark. It's got a cool chromatic, what do you call it?
Well,
when you...
all I can think of is just dark when I think of that game.
Yeah, they do a cool thing, where I can't remember what it's called. I'm pretty sure I wrote about it directly in my review, where it's like they split the colors down like surfaces, so like the blue and red split out either side of the surface, so everything has a really cool, almost like a lens over it. Real nice stuff. In third, we have Halo 5 Guardians, a game about scale rather than detail, as we'll surely discuss.
Yep.
Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, The Order 1886, debatably the only category this game could have got onto. Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, not just for the tits. Rise of the Tomb Raider, also not for the tits. And The Witcher 3.
That's on there for the tits.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Geralt has to get his.
Gotta go to those brothels every 10 minutes.
Yeah, I wish you could play that entire game as Ciri, but unfortunately you can't. You're stuck with beardy Geralt. That game
you can
has...
play as Ciri, can't you?
No, only at certain parts.
Oh,
it's like Ciri's story.
I've seen glitches where if you go into brothels as Ciri, you transform into Geralt with, like, no head.
Nice. He's got amazing beard tech. The beard grows dynamically.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Maybe that game should win, I don't know. I mean, imagine if Metal Gear had that. Just like an afternoon out in the desert and suddenly you're sporting like Jesus beard.
Yeah, but you can't do that because Big Boss's beard is iconic.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, technically, it's Venom. Also, we're going to spoil video games, by the way.
Sean is the head of the Syndicate.
Yeah, you go. Institute. He's not the head of Syndicate. That's...
Oh, I'm angry that the Assassin's Creed Syndicate's even on here. It shouldn't be nominated for anything.
To be fair, it looks pretty nice. I guess the best place to look for images... I mean, there's obviously going to be images on this podcast when it goes up, but if you ever want to look at like how good these games look, check out our reviews on the website, because at least one of the images in a Syndicate review is like just a dude with a beard. I think it's someone famous. He's got a really nice beard. It's impressive.
Nicer than Geralt's.
That game looks pretty good. Yeah, way nicer. It's like, I think it's like a dude called Robert Topping. Massive beard in the lamplight of a London street. That game looks really good. The characters look really good. But of course, it's fucking riddled with the glitches.
Yeah.
That you'd expect. Like, I sent you that image of the transgender character having a mustache hanging out through her lip.
Yes.
It was the worst character it could have happened to. Really? Yeah. I think that game looks good. I don't know if it's as good as, say, the Call of Duty Black Ops 3. That game looks really good.
Does it? I haven't seen much of that game.
It looks nice, but I would maybe... best looking game, I guess we should have said this earlier, it's like, we're partly looking at it from a technical perspective, aren't we? As well as, like, artistic.
Yes.
And Black Ops is certainly technically proficient, but, I really like it because it's got all the virtual overlays and a really nice UI. So if you hit I can't remember what it's called, but it's like this cool overlay, so it'll go on the floor and tell you where like high fire areas are, so you're not going to go there. Obviously, you'll die if you do. And that's pretty cool, because that all flexes like dynamically as you move and the enemies move and switch firing patterns and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it's still just a modern military shooter.
And out of the shooters in this list, I would argue that probably like Battlefront is probably much better looking than this.
Yeah, so we'll take Call of Duty off there, take Assassin's Creed off.
Yep.
Halo 5. I kind of put this on here more for like some parts of that game look great. Other parts of it, not so much.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at the multiplayer maps, for example. About 5 of them look amazing.
Are we talking about the awful, what are they called? Forge maps in this?
Yeah, like, but I mean, they were in the base game too, weren't they? Like, you have that arena, that interior arena in space, or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's like 5 of the maps are that, which is fine. Like, I like the kind of virtual floor, but the walls are just like flat blue and shitty. And then like all the actual buildings in these maps and the Forge maps are just textureless.
Yeah.
Just single colors. It's kind of unbelievable. I mean, yeah, what was it called? The Battle of Light and Shadow, I think, was that update we took a look at a couple of weeks ago.
Was it?
Yeah. You know, with the big team battles maps.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just like the rankest thing ever.
Yeah, it's a shame. Like, I've seen some community creations in Forge, and they've made really cool looking maps. Someone remade Shadow Moses Island from Metal Gear Solid 1 in Forge.
Oh, in Halo 5?
Yeah, in Halo 5.
I haven't checked. I installed the update, but I haven't checked it out.
The ones that, you know, they put out for big team battles are just awful, flat textured, awful, like rocks and grass. It's just
no
awful.
shadows whatsoever.
Yeah.
Or in some cases, too much shadow, which is a weird thing to say. Yeah, I don't know. But then, like, you look at some of the areas of the campaign. Like, this isn't really a spoiler; it's in the pre-release material anyway. But if you go to Shanga Helios, you know, the elite homeworld, and some of the areas there are just like huge and a cool mix of like organic and like ancient statues and shit, and it just looks great. It really does. Like, you fight the Kraken, that huge Covenant vehicle, and yeah, it's just like the sense of scale is really good in that game.
Yeah,
it's maybe an impressive thing for a Halo game considering how sandbox that whole experience is. But I don't think it's consistent.
No, it's not.
Speaking of inconsistent, let's talk about The Witcher 3.
Okay.
That game also looks good.
Doesn't look as good as the pre-release material.
Yeah, I was going to call out the weather. Like, I don't know if you've seen any of the weather patterns on like the trees swaying and stuff. Really nice storms and stuff in that game. Cool characters, but like shit frame rate.
Yeah.
Ultimately. And it's all kind of like much of them. It's like, and I call this out in the review, it's very green and castle-y. Like, there's a part in that game where you visit like a load of very different landscapes in quick succession, and that's like the most visually impressive thing ever. But it's also half an hour of the game. But then, you know, you look at Skellige, which is really captures the islands. So I don't know. I like the look of The Witcher, but it doesn't make my heart swell like some of the other games on here.
Mm. Well, what does make your heart swell?
How do you feel about Metal Gear?
It's beautiful looking, especially for a Metal Gear game. You know, they're not necessarily known for how well they look, but I think the Fox engine really does help that game, especially with like the lighting and you know, the dynamic weather that you get. I really like the rain, but it's a shame that it's only in is it Africa?
Sure. That would make sense, wouldn't it, with Afghanistan being extremely dry?
Yeah, I don't think it rains in Africa.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, because it was our best looking game of the year last year was Ground Zeroes. I don't know whether it's just because, like, at the time it was great looking, but now I look at Phantom Pain and I see a lot of, like, low textures on, like, characters and, like, gear and stuff.
Yeah.
But then again, Quiet has the most amazing armpits. I don't know if you've seen her when she's up
Oh, God.
On the side of the chopper. Really good art. Like, they don't tear like normally. You know how normally, like, they just stretch the texture. Her armpits are really good. In case you're wondering. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Metal Gear and The Witcher. Like, neither of them really blow me away.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, The Order is just... It's almost... I don't want to say it's like watching a movie, but it really is.
It may as well be.
I mean, that game does a lot of things poorly, or it doesn't do enough, you could argue. But the looks of that game, I mean, it's all, that game is entirely atmosphere and looks, and it is quite amazing. It's got a real good filmic quality. I think it is the widescreen, because they crop the top and bottom off the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a gorgeous looking game. But so is Bloodborne, but on a more artistic sense. It's not as detailed and also has frame rate issues.
Yeah.
But some of the areas in that game, some of the fucking monsters, do you remember any of them? I know we did a few videos of different bosses.
I remember, didn't you fight one under the ocean at some point, or in the sky or some shit?
Oh god, the fucking Rom, the vacuous spider.
Yeah, that thing.
Oh, the thing was rank. Did you ever see the not Princess Amelia, someone Amelia, like a giant werewolf in a cathedral?
Maybe, it's been a while since I've looked at this stuff.
It's basically like a I don't know, 20-foot tall werewolf, entirely made up of Tress Effects style fluffy feathery hair. And god, it's amazing. It's definitely on the review. It's definitely in there. That game looks really great artistically.
Yeah.
And it's got technical moments, but it's not it's certainly not up there with Battlefront or The Order. And Battlefront, of course, has its own sort of film quality, isn't it? We're just basically you're watching the movies.
Battlefront is probably the greatest looking game I've ever seen.
Yeah. Even on the Xbox One, which runs at 720p, it looks fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game, dude. I mean,
Also,
it's got skyboxes, it's got the close-up detail, it's got the animation.
I watched I think it was a Digital Foundry video or something, and the PS4 and Xbox One versions are identical, pretty much, and they are the equivalent of high on PC, and they're running on consoles.
Yeah. That's actually pretty good when you consider how big, look at the Hoth map, for example. It's a fucking huge map.
Yeah.
A ton of people on. You've got the walkers constantly going across it. Got to be a technical challenge. But I guess when all you have to do is make an engine that allows people to shoot one of 12 guns.
Yeah.
It's probably not that difficult, is it, to make it look... Well, no, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it cost them fucking millions, but... Really nice animation. Just the shooting and the jumping, way people move in that thing.
Yeah.
Blaster fire. God, the fucking blaster fire down those corridors. I don't know how to feel. I love Bloodborne, I love Battlefront, I love The Order. Tomb Raider. We saw a bit of Tomb Raider the other day.
We did.
That game looks really, really good. It looks consistently good at all levels, whether or not you're in a massive area or in a really small claustrophobic tomb. It does amazing things with the light off the the enemies you're fighting, the Christian nutjobs, they're basically just dudes armed with flares. So every time you see them, there's 5 flares on the floor around you, so it just looks amazing at all times. And she has glow sticks, which come in blue and orange variants, and they just light up everything so well.
Yeah.
Really good. But it's yeah, that looks really good, but you can also see the limitations. It's a bit like The Order, where it's it looks great, but it's limited. Whereas Bloodborne is artistically more interesting, and Battlefront is just fucking amazing.
So are those the 3 choices then? Battlefront, Bloodborne, and The Order?
I mean, I could go for any of them, yeah. It's kind of where you fall on them. I mean, what do you value more, the artistry of Bloodborne, or the just fucking amazing looking Battlefront?
Now, I don't own a PS4, so I have not experienced The Order or Bloodborne firsthand.
The Order it's fucking unbelievable at times.
Yeah.
Just amazing detail.
I still maintain that Battlefront is the best looking game I've ever seen, and the best game I will ever see for the next 1 or 2 years before Battlefield 5 or Bad Company 3 comes out.
Yeah, I think The Order's more... It's got a closer... I think it's more detailed than Battlefront, but I think Battlefront just has the style that these other games lack,
Yeah.
Animation's really good. I know I've said that 4 times, but it's fucking really good. Goddamn. Also, by default, the woman is a black character, which I love.
Yep.
And that's technically graphics, so Battlefront for diversity wins in my books. So, do you want Battlefront? Is that where we're leaning?
That's where I'm going for.
I guess it's Battlefront then. I mean, that's not a contentious one at all, is it?
No.
Yeah, that's best looking game, says GameDropZone. Says the Droppers.
The Droppers. Oh god, don't ever call us that again.
Best looking game, Star Wars Battlefront. We'll be back tomorrow with best soundtrack, which is maybe the one I'm most excited about. Least excited about editing.
Yep.
And then, yeah, in 2 days' time, we'll have Game of the Year. The big one. The big GTY. No, I've spelled that wrong.
The goats.
The big goats, yeah. Goat mom. I want to fuck her. See you again soon.